Yo, what up here? How you doing, guys? My name is Sanj and today I'm bringing you something slightly different. We're not going to be talking about entirely clothes. As some of you may know, at the beginning of the channel I wanted to have a fashion and lifestyle content, and so I've really pushed for the fashion, not so much in the lifestyle. And so what I'm going to do on a monthly basis, and I'm sure you'll have seen this throughout various other YouTubers who also put this content out, it's have like a monthly favourites. Now I know that if you type in any monthly favourites, you usually find girls talking about their makeups and whatnot. However, I just wanted to put an own twist with us boys and show you what I like this month. Now, because the content is obviously slightly different, I won't be able to speak about what my favourite coat or my favourite t-shirt or my favourite pair of jeans were for a specific month, because let's be honest, if I really like a pair of jeans, I'm going to be wearing them for more than a month, and therefore there won't be anything fresh and exciting for you. So I'm kind of going to use this opportunity to show you some new pickups that I perhaps don't feel the need to show you an entire video about, and also give you guys an opportunity to get to know me better. I'll be able to use a segment to talk about the movies that I've seen this month, the books that I've read, and the music and whatnot. So since this is my first try, I'm open to suggestions. Any questions that you have that you may think will change on a monthly basis that I could answer to, let me know in the comment section down below. And so with that being said, let's start this. Now, since this is a fashion channel after all, I thought I'd start off with some shoes that I picked up this month that I have yet to show you, and that is these Common Projects Chukka Desert boots in this grey suede. Beautiful pair of shoes, man. I got them off Grailed, so definitely check out Grailed. You can find some absolute bangers and steals. The only disappointing thing about Grailed, at least in my opinion, is the fact that a lot of the sellers are obviously based in the US. And so for any buyers that are looking to buy, especially from the UK to the US, then you might get hit with custom charges. Obviously the exchange rate is slightly different and all the other jazz. So it can be a pain. For example, these, I got them for an absolute steal at £150. But upon delivery, I had to pay another £40 for the custom charges. Now that's absolutely fine, because at £190, they're still dirt cheap in comparison to how much they were for retail. But obviously I would have preferred to have just paid £150 and get away with it. So this isn't a review, I'm just talking about my latest pickup. Real simple, real clean. You've got the iconic gold foiled lettering on the side that is signature from Common Projects. They've got this really lightweight white sole. I can't remember whether it's crepe, I could be wrong here, don't quote me. White laces, 4 holes, real simple boot, real clean, and they're currently being held with some IKEA shoe trees, hence why you can kind of see the shape really well. The only downside to this pair of shoes is the fact that the sole will get dirty real quick. I've worn these a fair few times. So far they're holding up good, but I know that with wear the whites will eventually yellow, and then we just have to Jason mark it. So boom, latest purchase. Also my favourite shoes of this month, if you want to call it. I might just call this section of this video the latest purchases, that way I can just show you guys. So Common Projects Suede Desert Boots, first purchase. Now the next piece I'd like to show you is a piece of accessories that I purchased from a store on Etsy. But before I get started, I just wanted to talk to you about the inspiration behind it. I watched a Bollywood movie called Ram Leela, which is an absolute banger. It's so sick. It is pretty much the Asian version of Romeo and Juliet. They've given it their own spin. Visually beautiful, story-wise. Obviously, who doesn't like Romeo and Juliet? Pause. But anyway, all the lead characters from this village were wearing this absolutely amazing bracelet. They had their accessory game on point. It was heavy, silver, with a lot of detailing. Even their earrings was quite sick. And so inspired from that, I bought this bracelet from this Etsy store, as I've mentioned. It's from a store called Antica Vintage Tribal Jewelry. And this is actually a Bedouin bracelet. Now, it's so sick. Hopefully I'll give you guys some close-ups of it. It does make a noise, which is really annoying, and unfortunately it fits too small for me. Now, in the description of the product I did take into consideration all the measurements. However, I forgot the fact that this is indeed a full cuffed one, so you would have to go through your hand, and as you can see it just doesn't fit. And obviously I can press it a bit more, but it just hurts. So what I'm actually looking to do is get this cut, empty out the little beads that are inside, because that's really annoying and I don't want to have this noise as I walk everywhere. And then make it a cuff, an open cuff that I can just slip onto my wrist like that. Such a sick piece of accessory. I can't wait to start busting it. As I mentioned, Bedouin, and apparently this is from the 30s, which is amazing. It's still in very good condition. Obviously it's been beaten up and bruised, but that's what makes it a vintage piece special. Definitely can't wait to start wearing this. If you're looking to get something along these lines, definitely check out Antica Vintage Tribal Jewelry. I've purchased this out of my own money. This isn't a sponsored shout out or anything. I just really like their stuff, and I thought they could do with a little exposure. Moving on to the random favourites of this month are these IKEA shoe trees. Now if you have a large selection of shoes, you know that you want to take good care of them, and these are actually perfect for it. I watched this video from one of the guys in Philippines. I can't think of his name right at the second, however when I'm editing it I will, and I'll pop that at some point on the screen. But either way, he had a video on the IKEA shoe trees, absolute bangers. £1, dirt cheap. Now, I don't recommend getting these for your actual shoes, especially your sort of Italian, British Benchmade shoes. For that, I do actually use proper wooden shoe trees. However, for your trainers, these are definitely the way to go. They're £1, they're flexible. They're not that effective, I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I first put them on my shoes, I was a bit disappointed in the fact that you want shoe trees to fill out the entire front of the shoe, to make it so that if you press upwards, you should have the shoe tree literally sticking against the leather or whatever fabric of the shoe, and it just sits like that. Unfortunately with these though, especially with some of the shoes I have at hand, you just don't fill out the shoes. It just keeps the shape, I guess, but it doesn't fill it out. So in the common projects that I showed you, it does a relatively good job. But if you take a look at these Stan Smiths, for example, I can press down, and at points, especially around here, you don't feel the shoe tree. Here you do, here you don't, and at the sides, not really. So it's great if you're looking for something really cheap, and as I said, you're looking to put it just in your trainers, but definitely when it comes to actual proper shoes, definitely invest in some wooden shoe trees because they'll do the job better and you'll be better off with it as well. Moving on to the more personal side of things, I'd like to talk about my favourite book of this month, and that is Marching Powder. A good friend of mine went travelling across South America for 3 months and she came across this book. She didn't personally read it, but she had heard stories from every other travellers that had supposedly read it. She thought I'd find it interesting, so she bought me a copy. So thank you, Charlotte, appreciate that. This is Marching Powder. This is written by a guy called Rusty Young, and it follows the life of a British drug trafficker, Thomas McFarden, who got caught carrying cocaine in Bolivia, and then he got sent to the infamous San Pedro prison. And we pretty much get the opportunity to see what happens behind closed doors. There are no rules. It's a completely corrupt place, fueled by drugs, money, power. The amazing book is so sick, especially reading about their lives and the way they live. With the booming of shows like Narcos on Netflix, this book will definitely give you perhaps more of an understanding into that whole world. Obviously Narcos is set up in Colombia, whereas this takes place in Bolivia. Definitely a book to read. If I ever have the chance to go to Bolivia, La Paz to be precise, I believe, I would like to take a look at that prison. It just looks insane. Moving on to my favourite movie this month, I actually went to see quite a fair few movies. I have a friend that works at the cinema, so he's able to hook us up, so thank you, you know who you are. So off the top of my head, the 3 best ones that we saw were The Walk, The Martian and Everest. Now out of all 3, I personally enjoyed Everest the most. It's visually incredible and once again based on true stories, which I am always a big fan of. There's something about it being a true story rather than fictional that makes it that more believable, and therefore you can kind of relate more to the actors, their emotions and whatnot. So if you haven't seen the trailer for Everest, I'm going to give you a quick synopsis without ruining the movie. Everest is obviously a movie about Mount Everest, where 2 teams, which then merge into one, go up to the peak, climb it, talk about all the success they've had, and then try to make a descent on time. Now I'm sure listening to me, you probably don't want to watch this movie. Trust me, do yourself a favour and go take a look at the trailer. It's such a sick movie, definitely worth a watch. So my favourite movie for this month was Everest. And the final section for this month's favourite is music. Now I was debating about whether I wanted to talk to you guys about new music that I discovered, or rather music that I've been listening to. I decided to go for new for this month, but obviously things might change later on. And if you guys have watched my previous vlogs, I did one while we were in Barn on the Farm, supporting our friends. It's a great band from Manchester called Pros. It's this rap trio, acoustic, whatever you wish to call it, I genuinely don't know. I know that it's rap, but obviously they have guitars and drums. So sick. They just released their debut EP called What If. It's on Spotify, has 4 songs, so you've got Run With Faith, Mountains, Head Sick, What If, sorry I'm reading off my phone. Such a sick EP, amazing songs, great lads as well, so definitely take a look at them if you can. I don't want to compare them to anyone because I feel as though they're doing their own thing, but they definitely have the aggression that Eminem brings to his raps. If you're able to listen past the strong accents, then the lyrics are sick as well, and musically very talented group of boys. So favourite music for the month, we have Pros with their debut EP called What If. It's now available on Spotify and iTunes, so definitely take a look, but for the time being just listen to it on Spotify, see if you like it. And that concludes the first monthly favourites video. Now obviously this is my first time, so things might be a bit different from now on, and I am learning and seeing what's best to put out. So if you have any suggestions, as I mentioned already, please put them in the comment section down below. As usual, I want to thank you so much for your support. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe, all the other jazz. In terms of updates for videos, I'm looking to do the fall winter lookbook. I've got a concept in mind, I just need to prepare it and get the shoot done. I also want to do another heavily requested video, and that is about my hair. It's grown quite a bit since the beginning of the channel, and I feel like perhaps I can give my 2 cents if you're looking to grow your hair. So that's definitely coming amongst other videos. Thank you very much for watching. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Peace. Boom. Moving on to the final pair.